Oof, would you look at the time? My time is run out. I already am 5 years overdue. I better get on this before the ever-benevolent patience of His Greatness Mr. Saturn runs dry. Extra hot pepperoncino. Off the Americano Presse. Dreams of Utopia, south of Nova Scotia. These people wanted to make model communities, typically with communal features. Due to differing practices and conditions, each community had varying degrees of success. The Oneida community was a small communal utopia of around 200 to 300 people. Personal property was not allowed. Similarly, they practiced complex marriage, where, like their communal goals of property, no one person's love could be monopolized by a single entity. They sustained themselves on chores and selling manufactured goods like silk and steel traps. But alas, they withered due to outside pressures and criticism of their complex marriage and quaint program of eugenics. The Shakers really loved to shindig, but they didn't like to get down. They thrived on religious principles in their small communities. Alas, they didn't grow much. Celibacy was mandatory, so no shaking sons were sired. Brook Farm, a socialist Fourierism commune, lasted from 1841 to 1847. Occupants balanced labor and leisure, all were paid equally. They were financially unstable, and decided to call it quits after their plans went up in smoke. New Harmony, founded with good intentions by Robert Owens. As expected of a system offering rewards, even for little effort, freeloaders strained the society's capital and forced it to disband. Millerites, Christian Adventists, predicted Christ's second coming would be on 1844, October 22nd. When Jesus didn't swing around, a lot of support left town. Surprisingly, they still had a following after the fated day didn't transpire. Mormons, founded by Joseph Smith himself. Mormons believed in Mormon Jesus. Joseph received golden tablets from an angel and transcribed them into the Book of Mormon. They created a community with a militia. People weren't too keen of polygamy, so they hated the Mormons. They kept moving west until Mormon Shua had forsaken Joseph Smith and was killed. Threatened by dissolution, the charismatic Brigham Young led the Mormons west, where there was barely anybody to hate them, because Utah is a bit on the crusty and dry side. Oh hey my hand, oh my bill, I don't know where to place this handbill on transcendentalists at the Lyceum. I might as well read it aloud and hope people pay a sympathetic glance in my direction. 1. Wes Waldo. Ralph Waldo Emerson once again exemplifies the core ideas of the transcendentalist movement. Staying true, Ralph espoused the ever-present philosophy of individualism, optimism and freedom. Such resounding messages ring true to the populace in these tumultuous times of clashing ideas and ideals. Mr. Emerson's practical philosophies are an inspiration to Americans everywhere. To like the German word for fountain pen, Fuller. Margaret Fuller was a fount of transcendentalism and social liberalism. Her message of perfect freedom rings out to the women of antebellum America like an endowed imperial Chinese gong. Free like a crow in the wilderness, Henry David Thoreau espoused the benefits of an austere life. But not only a man who admires simple living, he also admonishes revolutionary ideas with on the duty of civil disobedience. Such ideas of non-violent resistance will have an astonishing reach in the days to come. Fourth, and least in life, Walt Whitman. He presented bold collections and ideas of poetry and stanza. His book Leaves of Grass may not have had many contemporary fans. He nonetheless presented a uniquely unorthodox and American style of poetry.
What is it that binds me to this earth? Is it the girth of my legs, or is it my duty to carry on in good legs? Must I work the gin to pay for my taskmaster's gin? Surely it is my soul, but what is a soul encumbered by a jar? Can I cast away my fettered arms? Should I worry the harm? That is the pained charm of the black man in the field. Will my children too have to make do with broken backs and chafing wrists? I wish I could fear a loss. Henceforth I would have things to lose. I want to take up my cross, but to them we are estranged Jews, strangers in shambles, strangers without a home. Truly, there is no home for a man in chains. You are leading a chariot, another is holding your reins.
Temperance, dear Derry. Today I witnessed a panel on temperance. The room, instead of smelling of booze and sweat, smelled like mothballs and mildew. There were a few speakers. Most of them were old hags, but a few of them were new hags. Each and every one supported temperance in one form or another. The reasons cited for aversion to alcohol were as follows: a waste of money, a waste of time, drunkards, a waste of space, alcoholics were unproductive, women and children at danger of being whipped like butter. You would think they would be happy campers, but no, they spent a great deal of energy arguing about what to do with alcohol. Ban it, tax it, moderate it, mildly suggest to stop drinking. I guess they have at least some reach. Mr. Smith on my right, whose sunken face I had seen guzzling whiskey, smelled not of hard cider, but of hard hickory ham. I guess they persuaded the Smiths out there. Ha 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 ha!